Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Rehab Christian Center Sunday morning virtual experience. Having some technical difficulties this morning, but glad to be here and certainly hopeful and prayerful that all of you are having a tremendous weekend. I tell you, it's been an interesting one. If you are in the Triad area, we woke up to a whole lot of snow that I don't think a lot of us even expected. I know I didn't. And so it really completely shocked me. But it's good to see you. Good to be with you. And again, apologize for the technical challenges we're having this morning, but just glad to be here and glad you've tuned in. Listen, I got a powerful message for you this morning, and I cannot wait to share it with you. And just so glad you've tuned in this morning. So do me a favor, if you haven't already, regardless of the network that you're tuned in, go ahead and say good morning on the network that you're on. Start liking this video, start sharing this video. Because I can't wait to get into this word and share it with you. And I can guarantee you it's going to bless you in a tremendous way. It's going to bless you. And we're just grateful you're with us on this morning. So again, good morning to you. It's so good to see all of you virtually that are tuned in, and those of you that are on the way, and even those of you that are watching the replay. Thank you so much for making the Rehab Christian Center a part of your Sunday routine. We don't take that for granted. There are a lot of churches, virtual and in person, that you could experience this morning. And so we're grateful that you are with us, and we are grateful to have you with us. So again, good morning. Go ahead and start liking this video, start sharing this video, start saying good morning, and let's get rolling right into the broadcast, because this is going to be a powerful one. And again, I'm so excited. I've got a great, encouraging word that I'm going to share with you today. And I'm just so glad that you have tuned in, and so glad that, again, you have made this a part of your routine this morning. All right. So let's get going. Let's get rolling. And let's go through the networks. Facebook, good morning to you. It's good to see you virtually. Those of you that are tuned in via Facebook, thank you so much for joining us. If you're on Facebook, do me a favor. I want you to hit that like button. If you really enjoy this broadcast, I want you to hold it down, turn it to a love button, then hit that share button, hit the @ symbol, tag 5 people. And tell them to tune in. All right. I know that was a lot. I'm going to say it again. I want you to hit that like button, hold it down, turn it to a love button. I want you to hit that share button, hit the @ symbol, tag 5 people, tell them to tune in, and let them know that the Rehab Christian Center is on the air this morning. We've got a powerful message, out with the old, in with the new. It's going to be great. And I can't wait to share it with you. I cannot wait to teach this message today. And frankly, just can't wait to encourage you. You're going to be encouraged today in a special way. And so I'm grateful to have you here, and thankful again that you've tuned in to join with us and share with us. Instagram, good morning to you. It's good to see those of you that are logged in on Instagram. It's good to see you virtually this morning. If you're tuned in, hit the hearts. Let me know that you're there, that you're tuned in. Instagram's my slow church, but they're coming. Make sure you say good morning in that chat area. And then I want you to hit that @ symbol. Hit that @ symbol. I want you to tag 5 people. And I want you to tell them to tune in this morning. All right. Hit that @ symbol, tag 5 of your friends on Instagram, and tell them to tune in this morning. Again, we've got an exciting word, and I can't wait to share it with you. And I want all of you that are tuning in via Instagram, those of you that are on the way, to start sharing this video, start tagging people, nudging them, telling them to get up and get in the room this morning, because, again, we've got a powerful word, and I'm excited to have you with us. All right. YouTube, good morning to you. It is good to see you virtually. Those of you that are tuned in via YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm grateful to have you with us today. If you're on YouTube or have not subscribed, rather, to our YouTube channel, you can do that by going to @TheREHABCC. Just go to YouTube, type in the search bar, TheREHABCC, no spaces, TheREHABCC. And you can, from there, subscribe to our channel. You can follow our channel. You can go back and see the archive of all of our messages since the pandemic started, which is really when YouTube started for us. We had a YouTube channel before then, but it really started with the pandemic. And so you can go back and take a look at all of our messages archived. It's great material if you walk like me, if you exercise, do other things, working out. You need something in your ear, you can get that inspiration by tuning in and going back and looking at the archive of all of our messages. And so make sure you check that out if you have not. Again, follow us on YouTube @TheREHABCC. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like this video. Make sure you hit that share button. I want you to share this video with as many people as you can. and tell them to tune in and join with us this morning. All right, y'all, I've got 9:15 and I want to get ready to get into this. Again, it's good to be with you on a very cold Sunday morning here in North Carolina. It's good to be with you. Again, don't know where all that snow came from yesterday, but I was still running like crazy yesterday. They didn't cancel my son's games, but did not cancel my daughter's gymnastics. It was a very long day. But I'm grateful to be here with you this morning and so grateful you tuned in. Happy birthday to Sister Swan, one of our administrators at church. One of our moderators, her birthday is today. So I want to publicly again wish her a happy birthday and just grateful for all of you again for tuning in and joining in with us this morning. Let's get to the declaration. All right. Can we do that? Let's get into the declaration. Let me get my screens together and let's walk through this declaration today. I'm excited to bring this to you. I love walking through the declaration. If this is your first time joining us, at the Rehab Christian Center, make sure you let us know that. We want to welcome you here. Every single Sunday, we walk through our declaration. People ask, what does rehab mean? Is that really the name of your church? And it is. It's called Rehab for a reason. It is an acronym that represents 5 pillars by which we operate and do ministry. And so it is really the name of our church, and people want to know what it stands for. And so we always walk through this on Sundays because we believe not only in the power of what we say, but in fact, the energy behind the way in which we say it. And so as I walk through the declaration, I like to read it slowly. If you're on Facebook and YouTube, you can see it on your screen. Instagram, we're working on that. Promise that as we get into this hybrid schedule, hopefully to be able to bring that on Instagram as well for those of you that will still be tuning in that way when we are in the building. And so many things we're working on. But if you're listening into this broadcast right now, we're going to walk through the declaration. I read it slow so that you can repeat after me. And so I don't care what you're doing. If you're cooking eggs, if you're at brunch, if you're at the pool, if you're driving in your car, if you're working out, if you're still laying in bed, doesn't matter. I want you to repeat this declaration because, again, there's great power connected to the words we say. There's great power connected to the words that we say. And I don't want you to lose sight of that, not just on a Sunday morning, but throughout your entire week. Doesn't matter how ghetto your week gets. And I'm here to tell you, last week, by far, was the most ghetto week of my life. I have never had a week more ghetto than last week. I'm just being honest with you. It was one of the most ghetto weeks that could have ever existed. But even when you have a nice ghetto week, it is your ability to speak life into yourself, to speak life into your situation that sometimes keeps you afloat. And so I want you to remember this today. And again, prepare to repeat this declaration. Let's walk through it right now. It should be on your screen. If it's not, repeat after me. Say it with me. Restore. We declare that everything that is broken, lost, hurt, or destroyed that belongs to us and has been designed by God is restored. Say it with me. My faith is restored. My joy is restored. My mind is restored. Even my lost time is restored. I am no longer broken. The fact that I'm alive means I have another chance. My faith has restored me, and right now, His love is making me whole. Evangelize. Say it with me. We declare that God helped us so we can help somebody else. He loved me when I was unlovable. He changed me when I was a mess. His love lifted me when I was down. I'm not perfect, but I'm free. And anything that came for me can't keep me. Because I'm free, my circle is next. My family is saved. My friends are blessed. My plans are successful. My goals are ahead of schedule. And anything connected to me is blessed, just like me. Hope. Say it with me. We declare that everything that is missing is not lost. In Jesus, I have hope. And this hope makes me confident. It doesn't matter what happens to me or around me. I'm going to win. My relationships are winning. My goals are winning. My family is winning. My neighbor is winning. This city will win, and my row has the victory. My past is defeated, and my future is brighter today than it was yesterday. Alternatives. Say it with me. We declare that God made us different. I'm a royal child, the light of the world, and the hope of my city. I respect the past, but I don't look like what I've been through. I love the church, and my life is balanced. I love coming to church, but I like flights, boats, and vacations. My whole life is blessed. I am the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. I am a lender, not a borrower. And every place I go belongs to me. Breakthrough. Say it with me. We declare that God has a breakthrough with our name on it. I have some challenges, but I am not defeated. No weapon formed against me can prosper. And I know that all things are working for my good. Things are not breaking down. They are about to break through. There is a breakthrough in my career. There is a breakthrough in my home. There is a breakthrough in my health. There is a breakthrough in my finances. I am here on purpose, for a purpose, and everything that went wrong is getting ready to turn around. Did you make that declaration with me today? If you did, I want you to do me a favor before we get into the message. I want you to type in the comments really quickly, "It's going to get better." Would you do that for me? Type it quickly. It's going to get better. It is my goal this year, this entire year, to encourage you, regardless of where you are in your life, to encourage and remind you that things are going to get better. Come on, put it in the comments. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. I don't care what your situation is. And frankly, doesn't matter what area of your life is being impacted. I want you to understand today and be encouraged and know it's going to get better. Your finances are going to get better. Your relationships are going to get better. Your career, it's going to get better. Everything concerning your life is going to get better. Your health is going to get better. You've got to believe that today, and you have to stand on that. You've got to stand on that and say it until you see it. And if you say it until you see it, eventually you will see it and you're going to live it. It's going to get better quickly. Come on. Good. I see a lot of people typing it in now. Very good. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. I'm just so excited to be here to encourage you today and to remind you that things are about to get better in your life. And you've got to demonstrate the patience to hold on and not let go until you see better days. Better days are coming your way. And I want you to be encouraged to know that today. Listen, I've got a very exciting word for you. I want you to type in the comments on the subject today: out with the old, in with the new. That's what we're teaching today. Out with the old, in with the new. I'm going to be in Isaiah chapter 43, verse 16 through 19. All right. Isaiah chapter 43, verse 16 through 19 in the New Living Translation is where we're going to be. Let me type that here because I forgot to put that. I want to make sure everybody follows the version that I have, if you can. Isaiah chapter 43, verse 16 through 19. Type in the comments now: out with the old, in with the new. That's what we're going to teach with. And it is my goal. Let me set my timer. It is my goal to encourage you for about the next 50 minutes today in a major way. All right. Out with the old, in with the new. This is going to be powerful. And again, I'm so blessed, so excited that you've tuned in this morning. And listen. Let me say from the onset, sometimes things in your life have to get worse before they get better. I am a living witness that sometimes things in your life, literally, doesn't matter what area of your life we're talking about. Sometimes things in your life literally have to get worse before they get better. And where most people mess up is that they die when it gets worse. They quit when it gets worse. They give up when it gets worse, not realizing that the only difference between the darkest time of night and the brightest morning part of day is 1 minute. I'm going to say this again. The only difference between the darkest part of night and the brightest part of day is 1 minute. That's it. Literally, when your clock hits 12:01 a.m., it's a brand new day. And some of you don't realize that right now your life looks real dark. There's certain areas of your life that feel real dark. But I want you to know it's probably 11:59, which means you're at the darkest place you can be. And if you just wait a little bit longer, you are going to be on the verge of great things happening, changing, moving, shifting in your life. Don't you dare get discouraged in dark seasons of your life, because I'm here to tell you, God literally specializes. He literally specializes in bringing light into very dark spaces. And we're going to talk about that today. And we see this in Isaiah chapter 43, verse 16 through 19, New Living Translation. Again, want to shout out everybody that's tuned in. Keep liking this video. Keep sharing the video. Let's look at this. Isaiah chapter 43, verse 16. I want to read these verses, and then I'm going to go back, give you some foundational things. We'll come back to the verses. We'll be done. All right. Look at this. Isaiah chapter 43, verse 16 says, I am the Lord who opened a way through the waters, making a dry path through the sea. Verse 17, I called forth the mighty army of Egypt with all its chariots and horses. I drew them beneath the waves, and they drowned, their lives snuffed out like a smoldering candle wick. Look at verse 18. But forget all that. It is nothing compared to what I am going to do. Verse 19, for I am about to do something new. See, I have already begun. Do you not see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness. I will create rivers in the dry wasteland. This is what I want you to write down. This is your very first note. I want you to record notes in the comments, as we always do every Sunday. I can't tell you the number of people who reach out and say, Dr. Talley, I watch your video. I've got one gentleman, he's a truck driver. He literally can't even pay attention to the comments until he gets a break. But he runs the broadcast. And he says, when I'm running the broadcast, if I occasionally look at the screen, if I miss something with my ears, I can see the notes in the comments. And so when I ask you all to take notes, it's very intentional. Everything I ask you to do is very intentional. And this young man who's probably on the road right now, tune into our broadcast, really gets a lot from the notes that are typed. And so I can't say thank you enough. Listen, I want you to record this right now. All right. Number one, I want you to record this. There is nothing more risky in your life than settling and coping. I'm going to explain this. In your life, there is nothing more risky than settling and coping. Okay? In your life, there is nothing more risky. Right? You're not taking a greater chance on anything else than when you settle and when you cope. I'm going to explain it. There's nothing in your life. Lord, this ice is so good. There's nothing in your life more risky than when you settle and when you cope. Let's deal with this. Settling. Anytime you're in a situation where you begin to settle, what you are saying is, what I have is the best thing that I can have. All right. This is in careers, life, relationships, whatever. When you settle for anything, you're in essence sending a signal that says, this is the best I can do. This is the best I can do. Right. And I want you to know today that if you have settled for anything in your life, what you have accepted is the consolation prize. Right. The consolation prize is the prize for people who don't believe there's more. Right. The consolation prize in anything is the prize for people who don't believe there's more. And see, not only did Israel have this issue, whereas Israel would get frustrated with God and begin to settle with where they were in their lives, in their journey, to the point where oftentimes God would then have to send a prophet or a leader to slap them and say, listen, you can't stay right here, right? You can't settle where you are. You can't stay in this space. You've got to go better. Let me tell you something. Many of you in your life have settled for so many different things that you have grown into a space where you really believe that what you have, where you are, is as best as it can get. And I'm here to tell you this morning, Don't you dare settle for nothing. Don't you ever, ever settle for nothing. Even if you think what life has given you is the best you can have, I need you to dig a little bit deeper and realize that life can literally get better than what it is that you have right now. I was sharing this with a friend of mine, Giselle did great yesterday at her gymnastics meet, really excelled well. The largest meet she's been in besides state competition. She won the balance beam in the state last year. But this meet was the largest meet that she's ever been in, even larger than state, because they had people from Carolina, Virginia. They had teams from everywhere. And she placed second overall. And, she really went out there with something to prove. She told me, she said, Daddy, I didn't do good my first one. She said, but I came out there today with something to prove. And she did. And she was so excited about number 2. But I told her, I said, listen, you did great today. No mistake about it. You got a lot of ice on your neck today. You killed it. But don't you dare settle for second place. Don't you dare. You did great, but there's a place called first place. There's a place called I can do better even than this. And many of you, I hate to break the news to you, many of you are sitting in second place in your life and you smiling like this is the best you can do. And I'm here to tell you, you should never smile in any place less than the best of what God has to offer you. I'm telling, listen to me. Listen to the old man. Never settle for anything less than the best of what God has to offer you. I want you to put it in the comments now. I ain't settling. Yeah, I said ain't. I got a PhD. So what? I ain't settling for nothing less than the best for what God has for me. I refuse to settle. And that's the problem. Some of us have been settling for second and third and fourth and fifth place for so long that we have become stagnant in that place and believe that God ain't got better than this. Some of you have not moved from the places that you're living. Why? Because you've been in that place, that city, that town for so long that you've really settled to a place where this is the best that God can have for me. Some of you have not started your own business. You know why? Because you've worked that job. You've been on that job for 20 years. You're 5 years away from a gold jacket and a corsage. And you like, I ain't going out to start no job because this is the best that God got for me. And I'm here to tell you, you cannot settle for anything less than the best of what God's got for you. Listen, God don't want you eating bologna. God doesn't want you eating bologna. My girl, Nikki Watson, just logged in on Instagram. I ain't going to put her business on Front Street. Just go to her social media. Because sis, yesterday, and I'm going to testify, and I'm just talking about me. Sis yesterday literally made me go back and change my vision board. You know why? Because I realized that something I had on it wasn't really what I wanted. It was the second place thing. No, I changed my board yesterday when I saw something that Nikki Watson put on her Instagram. When I saw something she put on her Instagram, I said, wait a minute. I didn't mess around and put something similar on my vision board, but it's the second place thing. No, I'm going back and change that. I need to put on there what I want. Well, how you going to get it? I don't know. That ain't my problem. That's not my concern. And it ain't your concern either. Some of you have settled because you're trying to figure out how you're going to get the best. And what you don't realize is it's not your job to try to figure out how you're going to get it. It's your job to have faith to know and believe that you deserve it. And so I went back, literally changed my vision board and said, hold on, I'm supposed to be, that's what I'm supposed to, something similar to that is what I'm supposed to, let me change this board and get my active, like, how did I miss that, right? Never settle for anything less than what you deserve. I'm here to tell you, your life is going to be better for it. You're going to always have a fire and a grind under you when you operate in that perspective. And so many of you have settled for the placeholder. You've settled for the thing that satisfies you, but it is not the thing that God really wants you to have. It's not the thing that you really, really want to desire. Again, or really desire. Again, y'all are settling. Many of you are settling because you're trying to figure this out. Yeah, I would start the business, but how am I do it? So you settle on the job. I would go after a better career, but how am I do it? So you settle on the position you work in, right? I would live in a better space or try to upgrade where I live, but how am I going to do it? So you settle where you live in. Your job is never to figure it out. That's God's job. That's God's job. Your job is to believe. Your job is to have faith. Your job is to sow into the vision that you have for your life, and then watch God literally put all the pieces together. But when you refuse to settle, I'm telling you, life gets better. Life gets better when you refuse to settle for anything in your life. And don't y'all get me started on relationships. I'm not going to make this about relationships today. I'm not, but that's an easy one. And I ain't going to fool with y'all today. But this is especially true in relationships, because some of y'all walking around with 5s and God want to give you a 10. I said it. Some of y'all walking around with 5s, and I'm not going to turn this into that today, so don't y'all bother me. But some of y'all walking around with 5s and God want to give you a 10. Stop settling. Pastor, it's cold outside and I'm getting lonely. Oh, well, go get a blanket. Walmart got the joints. They got the warm-up blankets. They got them joints. What do you call them? Warming blankets. They got them electric blankets. That's what it is. Walmart got them electric blanket joints. Go get one of them. If you that cold at night, go get one of them joints. But stop walking around here with 5s when God want to give you a 10. Amen. Amen. Wait on the 10. I like that, Sister Hope. Sister Hope said, I'm waiting on the 10. Wait on the 10. 9 at best. Somebody say in the chat, get a pet. Go to Build-A-Bear. Are y'all listening to me? Go to Build-A-Bear. Get you a pet. Go buy you a donkey or something. Do something. But stop settling in your life. God does not want you to settle for anything, right? So that's number one. Settling. Here's the other thing, right? We said there's nothing more risky than settling. And we also said there's nothing more risky than coping. Coping. What do you mean by coping, Pastor? I want you to record this. Record this. Anytime you cope, you are saying, I'll learn to live with it instead of doing something about it. Oh, this is powerful here. Anytime you cope with anything, you're saying, I'll learn how to live with it than do something about it. I would rather learn how to live with it than do something without it. I'm about to bless y'all today. Listen to me. Anytime you say, Dr. Zeb, I'm going to cope with my situation. I'm going to cope with my job. I'm going to cope with this relationship. I'm going to cope with where I live. I'm going to cope with my situation. I'm going to cope with my health. You're saying, I'm going to figure out how to live with this and make this work instead of doing something about it. And you know what makes this powerful and dangerous at the same time? What makes coping powerful and dangerous at the same time is that coping will literally place you in a trance. Coping will have you out here sleepwalking. Listen to me. Coping will have you out here sleepwalking, settling in spaces, trying to make things work in spaces that are really beneath what God is trying to do in your life. Think back to Israel. Let's go back Bible for those of you that need it. Let's go back Bible. If you think about Israel, one of the major challenges the children of Israel had was that they would get so frustrated with where God had them that they would literally make statements to God. Listen to this. Y'all need to catch this revelation because many of you are guilty of this in your life. The children of Israel would make statements to God like, we would rather die in the wilderness than have to deal with what we're dealing with. That's called coping. That's called coping. And I'm telling you, some of you, oh, this is good here. Some of you would rather live the rest of your life in the town that you're in because of your fear of failure, because of your fear of starting over, because of your fear and trying to figure out how you're going to figure stuff out and do things. You would rather die in the hometown that you've been raised than pack up your bags, go to a different place where you can start over, have a better career, and live a better life. That's called coping. And anytime you cope, you're saying, God, I would rather you help me figure this out than for me to take a chance, step out, and do something about it. Y'all got to stop doing that. Some of you, and really, I don't have time to deal with fear, doubt, worry as much as I really need to today. We may even make this a part two, because there's a whole thing about fear and doubt that we could really jump into today. Because to be frank with you, most people do cope out of fear. They cope out of doubt. Most people get in spaces where they say, you know what, I'm going to just live with this. I'm going to just try to figure this out and just try to make this work, versus just making a change. And that's oftentimes laced in fear. If I make the change, it might not work. If I make the change, I might not have support. If I make the career change, I might not be able to make as much money. If I go after the business, start the business, I might, have months where I don't make no money, and then how am I going to pay my bills, right? You start playing all of these scenarios in your mind that, frankly, are laced in fear. They're laced in fear. And fear is one of those drugs that will have you living in something instead of finding the courage to change it. And this is what I want to tell y'all today. Some of you need to find the courage to change your situation. I want you to type it in the comments right now. This is a good word. I'm going to find the courage to change my situation. Watch this. You ready? This is going to hurt somebody's feelings. God not going to change it for you. For all of you that's waiting on God to come out the sky. Come on. For all of you that's waiting on God to drop out the air and change your situation, there are some situations he will change for you. Make no mistake about it. And let me just be very clear here, because I don't want you to take me out of context. Let me be very clear here. There's nothing God can't fix. There's nothing God can't change. I shouldn't have to say this, but I'm going to say it. There's nothing God can't fix. There's nothing God can't change. But let me help you. There's some situations you in where you waiting on God, watch, and God waiting on you. I'm going to say this again. I feel like getting up and running through my house. There are some situations you're waiting on God to change, and God's literally waiting on you to make the change. You got to find the courage. God ain't going to come down here and tell you, and God ain't going to come down here and pull you off that job you ought to quit, that you've been working for 15 years, making the same amount of money. You're not working in your passion. You got the gifts, you got the skill, you got the talent to be going after your passion and doing what you want to do. God ain't going to come down here and write your letter of resignation. You're going to have to do that. Are y'all listening? You're going to have to write the letter of resignation. He ain't going to come down here and put in your 2 weeks notice. Y'all don't like the way am I making sense at all? He's not going to do it. And so you got to understand that you have to find the courage sometimes to make the change. Make the change. You want Bible? Doc, that ain't Bible, Doc. Dr. Zen, that ain't Bible. That don't make sense. Yes, it is. Faith without what is dead? Fill in the blanks. Faith without what is dead? Faith without what? I'm waiting on somebody to type it in the comments. Faith without what? Blank. What's that word? Faith without blank is dead. What is it? Do I have a single Bible? Works. Works. Faith without works is dead. And you sit up here begging God, God, change my situation. God, change my living condition. God, change my career. God, change my business. God, change my relationship. God, do this. God, do this. God, do this. You down here begging like Felicia on Friday. Stop begging like Felicia on Friday. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to raise my voice. I got excited. Stop begging like Felicia on Friday. You don't have to beg God for nothing. Bible says, ask and it shall be given. Seek and ye shall find. You ready for the third one? Watch this. Knock. You know what knocking means? You got to do something. Y'all don't like the way I'm teaching here. Doc, I ain't never heard it taught that way. Yes, you have. Now you have. Ask and it shall be given, not beg. Seek and you shall find. Knock. Faith without works. Work. Do something. When you knock on the door, you are doing something. And I hate to tell y'all, listen, God, it ain't that God ain't answered some of y'all's prayers. Some of y'all have asked, you've sought God, but there's one thing you ain't done. You ain't started knocking on some doors. Y'all don't like this. Yeah, you've asked God to do it. You've written vision boards. You've done all of this stuff. You pray every single day. You fast. You've done all of this stuff. You've sought God. You tune in to church. You give your tithes. You do all of that. But let me tell you, there's one thing you ain't done. You ain't got off your tail and started knocking on some doors. Is the old man making sense to anybody? Because what that implies is that you got to get out this Felicia spirit. This begging, God gonna do it, God gonna do it, God do this, do this, do this, do this stuff. Just ask one time. Seek him for direction. Start knocking on doors. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. And when we do that, then we get out of this coping place where we don't just settle and stand back and say, God, just make it work where I am. Just make this work the way it is. Just, just fix it to where I can tolerate it and deal with it. No, doesn't work that way. You got to ask, seek, and knock. And part of the knocking is doing something. All right. And so again, coping says, I'll say here, coping says, I'll find a way to make where I am better. And you can't do that. You cannot do that, right? You've got to be willing to move from where you are. You've got to be willing to take the chance, even if you think failure's on the other side. You've got to be willing to take the chance, even if you think failure's there. And you can't let fear paralyze you to the point where you would rather remain where you are than dusting yourself off, moving forward and doing something better. All right? Is this making sense? Okay? Now, let me give you this. Before we get into some verses, wow, it's 9:48 already. That was fast. Before we get into some verses, let me give you this. Because here's the thing. The context, we're in Isaiah chapter 43, verse 16 through 19, New Living Translation. We read it earlier. But let me give you the context of Isaiah 43, 16 through 19. And then there are some things, I want to go back into earlier verses in chapter 43. I may not have time to get into all of them today, but I'm going to try to start here, right? Or try to start there. But there are some things that you got to understand about this particular verse or text. Isaiah 43, 16 through 19, New Living Translation. There's some things you got to understand here, and that is that God is in essence reminding them through Isaiah that there were some things that they experienced in the past that they had to experience just for God to create an opportunity to do something better. Okay? There were some things that Israel had to experience in the past just for them to be positioned, or for God rather, to be positioned to use what they went through to give them something better. All right? I want you to record this before I give you three things, and we're going to move on. I want you to record this. Nothing in your life happens by accident. Come on, record it. Nothing in my life, not your, say my, make it personal. And I was sharing this and encouraging somebody last night. She called me while I was on dinner. A colleague of mine is going through a very difficult situation, called me in tears, just hollering, screaming, crying. And I said to her, listen, I get it, but understand this. Nothing happens to you by accident. Nothing in your life happens by accident. In fact, let me tell you the opposite truth. Nothing in your life happens by accident for this reason, because God operates in opposites. I feel like running through my house. God operates in opposites. What do you mean, Dr. Zaya? Nothing in your life happens by accident, because before God does great things in your life, he has to have something to choose from. Before God does better things in your life, he has to have worse to choose from. Before God does big things in your life, he has to have little to choose from. Before God heals your body, he has to have a sick body to find. Before God fixes your money, God has to have a broke person to choose from. Is this making sense to anybody? And see, what we don't realize is when we ask God for things, oh boy, let me tell you something I figured out a few years ago that changed my whole life. You ready for this? I figured something out a few years ago that completely changed my whole life as it relates to my prayer life. I used to do a whole lot of asking for God to do things, certain things, do this, do that, do this, do that. And what happened is the stuff that I was asking him for, he was sending the opposite. And I was like, no, I asked you for more money. I didn't ask you for a pay cut. That's not what I asked you for. I didn't ask, maybe you got the prayers mixed up, God. Like, maybe, maybe you thought that was me, but that was somebody that looked like me. I didn't ask for a pay cut. I asked for my money. And then here I am taking a pay cut to go in the direction that my career is going in. This is not what I asked for. But listen to me. When you ask God for things, he's a God of opposites. Nothing happens by accident. When you ask God for things, the stage has to be set for him to give you what you asked him for. So for all of y'all that's asking God to fix your attitude, expect Negroes to get on your nerves at work. Are y'all listening to me? Expect Negroes to get on your nerves at work. For all of y'all saying, God, fix my attitude. I'm just not, my attitude just got to be better. Sometimes I like to cuss folk out. Sometimes I like to go off. Sometimes people just really work my nerves. I just get easily annoyed. God, I need you to fix my attitude. Okay, he gonna fix it. But let me tell you what he gonna do. He gonna send Negroes to get on your nerves too. He's a God of opposites. He's got to have something in place to fix. Gosh, is this making sense to anybody? Next time y'all ask God to give you patience, watch people, things, situations, circumstances start working your last nerve. Watch how antsy you start to get over your life. God, give me patience. Give me patience. And then watch how antsy you start getting. Watch. I like that. Somebody in the IG put in here, and it's perfect. I want a new car this year. That's why I got in an accident. Listen, it could very well be. I believe this. God put circumstances in place to answer your prayers. And watch. It's good that it wasn't good that she was in the accident, but she survived it and she got the car, which tells us all things work for the good. But listen, y'all, and I can't stress this enough. Be very careful asking God for stuff. Be very careful asking God for stuff, because sometimes the mountains that he moves, the situations that he creates, the circumstances that he creates to give you what you want, you're going to be like, whoa, I wanted a car, not an accident. I wanted to be in good health. I didn't want the doctor to say it looked like something. I wanted more money. I didn't want to go through this season of barely paying my bills. Hold on. You got to be careful, because again, he creates circumstances to answer your prayer. And so this is the backdrop of Isaiah 43:16-19, because God through Isaiah is reminding the people, listen, you asked for this, right? You wanted to come out of the wilderness. You wanted to come through the sea. You wanted these things to happen. You wanted me to bring you out, but I had to have something to bring you out of. I You wanted to come out of the will. I had to create a wilderness for you to go through. And sometimes we so easily, this is a very basic concept that is so easy to go over, so easy to miss. We ask God for these great grand things. God, save my family. And then your kids go crazy. God, save my grandkids, save my nieces, that, and then they go bananas. Save my spouse. She goes crazy. And you like, wait a minute. I didn't ask for this. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You asked for it. And the good news is, whether you see it as good news or not, the good news is, when it comes to God answering prayers, sometimes, and more often than not, things get worse before they get better. But here's the God we serve. The same way in verse 16, he tells them, I made a dry path through water, where he literally took a sea and divided the sea so that the children of Israel could walk through on dry ground. You know how crazy that look? Imagine going out here in the river, in the ocean somewhere, and the ocean waters just start receding and it's dry ground, and you can drive your car through there. You know how crazy that looks? Look crazy, don't it? That's the kind of God you serve. He be doing crazy stuff in the middle of your circumstances. This is why, and I said this on the broadcast, I think last week or the week before, it don't take faith to ask God to do it don't take faith to ask God to do basic things. It don't take faith to ask God to go outside and drive your car down the street. The street was built for that, for your car. It don't take faith to go outside to ask God if you can go outside and walk down the street. That's what the street was for. You know what? It takes faith to believe that God can take a river, an ocean, divide it, make the middle dry, and then you walk through that. That's the kind of God you serve. Because literally, he takes your life. When you ask for things, he takes your life and he sends it sometimes into chaos. And then in the middle of the chaos, he creates a way. And normally, it comes in a way that you least expect it. Y'all, I don't have time this morning to testify and tell you the amount of times God has answered prayers in my life in situations that were so chaotic, in ways that I could have never put together, ever. I mean, he solved problems in ways that while I was in the problem, I never saw as a solution. And out of the blue, this solution is created. Or sometimes the solution is right in front of my face. That's a different conversation, different day. And we got Bible for that too. But I cannot tell you the amount of times that God has stepped in the middle of chaos and solved the problem. So all of you, because I see somebody on IG, and I want to encourage you, my sister. Somebody on IG saying, listen, I'm in the middle of chaos right now. You know, right now, still recovering, expecting, but I want to encourage all of you that feel like you're in a chaotic situation to hold on. To hold on, watch, hold on, but then remember what you asked God for. You hear me? Hold on. That's Soné. Wow. Hold on and remember what you asked God for. It's chaotic. Yeah, when you prayed the prayer, you wasn't thinking about what you're dealing with. That's okay. Hold on. Hold on. The same God that took a river and parted it and made it dry for thousands of people to walk through is the same God that can take you from broke yesterday to having more than enough today. Do I have any witnesses here? If you can witness that, I want you to put up the hands emoji. Do it quickly. If this makes sense to you, put up the hand emoji really quick. I'm telling you from my personal experience, the number of times God has taken a chaotic situation and solved it in the middle of the chaos. In the middle of the chaos. He's going to do that for you, but you've got to remember what you asked for. You have to remember what you asked him for. Right? You asked for this. You know, in fact, I'll give you something that I told one of my clients recently. And in fact, I told this young lady that called me last night, just boo-hooing, weeping, crying about her situation. I felt really bad for her and what she's going through, and still do. But I told her something that I had to tell myself that helped me come out of some chaotic situations where I didn't know how God was going to answer. You know what helped me? And this is going to help y'all too. Try it this week. When things get real hard, because they will. I told you at the beginning of the broadcast, last week was the most ghetto week of my entire life professionally. I've never experienced a more ghetto week in my life, ever. Like, it was just ghetto, okay? Professionally, it was a ghetto week. But let me tell you what helped me get through it. What helped me get through it is something that helped me get through some past trials in my life. You ready? When things got hard, I started saying to myself, I asked for this. I know that sounds so counterintuitive. Listen to me. Things got hard, I start saying, wait a minute, I asked for this. This is what I asked for. I asked God to put my career in a position where I could change things, where I could fix things, where I could repair things, where I could help people, where I could empower people, where I could bring situations out of the red into the black. I asked for this. I asked for this. And then all of a sudden, when you start saying stuff like, wait a minute, this is bad, but I did ask God to heal my body. I'm hurting right now. I'm in physical pain, but I did ask God to make me healthy. I did ask God, I'm a little broke right now, but I did ask God to fix my finances, and I'm knocking on doors, and I'm sticking to my business plan, and I'm sticking to my career goals. This is what I asked for. And when you start looking at it that way, this sounds very counterintuitive, but listen to me. When you start looking at your life that way, then all of a sudden, what you're in don't seem that bad. It don't seem that bad. And when I tell you ghetto, she said slum ghetto, period. I mean, it was the pits of good times. Last week, I thought I was JJ. I was walking here like this. I thought I was JJ. Like, Negroes, what are y'all doing? The pits. You hear me? Then I had to remind myself, hold on, Doc. Hold on, Zed. You asked for this, man. This is what you asked for. You asked for this. You asked to be in this position. You asked to be able to empower in this way. You asked to be able to bring things. This is what you asked for. And when you do that, I'm telling you, it's going to bring you out. I like that, Nick, because I was actually going there. I love the confirmation. And this is another reason why I love for you all to write notes and type. This ain't no just sit there and listen to me deal. I like for you all to write notes and type because you end up encouraging each other. This is exactly where I was going here. Not only will God turn around the chaos, but then he'll bless you so much that he creates other problems as a result of your blessing. Like, you ain't got no free time. I told somebody last night, I'm working about 80 hours a week now. In the days I want to cry and fold up and be thinking about the beach, and sometimes that is a way I just disconnect. I just be thinking about these flights I'm about to catch. I just got to do what I got to do. I had to remind myself, I asked for this. You wanted success. This is what you're getting. You wanted clients. You getting them. You really wanted to know what it's like to run a consulting business. Now you're getting calls that you ain't even hardly got time for. That's what you asked for. Didn't you not ask for this? Then I had to calm down and be like, you know what? I did. I asked for this. I asked for success. I asked for bigger things. I asked for greater things. And when you do that, God continues to make ways in your life in major ways. Now, let me give you, that's the context of the chapter or the verses that we're reading. Now, let me give you, and I may not even have time to deal with more than this, so it looks like we got a part 2 on our hands, and this is good. So I want to take my time and really make sure you understand this word today. Let me give you 3 clear signs I want you to record this. Put it in the comments. I'm going to give you 3 clear signs God is preparing you for something new. I'm going to give you 3 clear signs that God is preparing you for something new. All right? I want to give you 3 clear signs. 3 clear signs God is preparing you for something new. All right? If you have not liked this video, like it. If you have not shared it, share it quickly. Tag somebody. Tell them they can catch the last 10, 15 minutes of this. This is going to be a powerful word. I'm going to give you 3 clear signs God is preparing you for something new. Right? Because many of you have been in situations stuck, and you've been wondering, God, like, when is this going to change? Is this going to change? Is this where I'm supposed to be? Is he going to fix where I am? You've been doubting yourself. You've been second guessing yourself. And we're going to use the Bible here to show you that God's going to give you 3 clear signs that he's preparing you for something new. All right? You ready? Sign number 1. Sign number 1 that God is preparing you for something new is this. You ready? Record this. When the stuff that used to fit you now makes you uncomfortable. When the stuff that used to fit you now makes you uncomfortable. When the stuff that used to fit you now makes you uncomfortable. That's a sign God about to do something new in your life. I'm going to explain. When the stuff that used to fit you now makes you uncomfortable. I'm about to blow you away. I'm telling you, man, this is a whole word right here. This is a whole word. We ain't going to have time to deal with all of this today. I got to do a part 2 next week. I'm not even through a 4 for my notes. When the stuff that used to fit you now makes you uncomfortable. Let me help y'all. Some of y'all have been in spaces, you've been in circles, you've been around people, you've been in positions, you've been in conditions, you've been in atmospheres, you've been in environments that were once good to you, that were once great for you, that were once thriving for you. But now you find yourself in those spaces where the stuff that used to fit you, in those spaces, in those environments, in those circles, in those careers, with those people, whatever, the things that used to fit you now make you a little uncomfortable. Let me share this with you. Some of you have second guessed yourself and said, wait a minute, maybe they changed. Maybe the job changed. Maybe the people in the relationships changed. Maybe, the circumstances concerning, that environment, situation, predicament, whatever changed. That's not the answer. Y'all ready for the answer? Watch this. You changed. And when you change, your perspective concerning where you are will always change. See, get this. Where you are didn't change. But when you changed, everything you saw changed. I don't feel like I'm explaining this good. Where you are did not change. The job didn't change. The relationships you were in, they didn't change. Some of you have been begging folk to change. They never changed. They didn't change. What happened is you grew. What happened is you evolved. What happened is you changed. And all of a sudden, because you changed, everything's changed. Y'all ain't getting this. Y'all not getting this. Are you listening to the old man? You didn't change. I'm sorry. They didn't change. You changed. You evolved. And when you grow, it completely changes how you see where you are. And watch this. This is so powerful that when you are in certain situations, when you're in certain situations, when you are in certain predicaments, you got to be careful, because this particular point, this particular word right here is for those of you that have been accused of changing. This particular point is for those of you that have been accused of changing. Used to be good enough for us. Used to be good enough to hang here. I used to be good enough for a relationship with you. I used to be good enough. You used to be good enough to work here. It used to be good enough. You used to be good enough to hang out with us. You used to be good enough to be in business with us. You used to be good enough to whatever with us. Listen, you get accused of changing when you evolve. When situations stay where they are and you have evolved, it's not that they change, you did. And when you change, when you evolve, it completely changes what you see and how you see it. Gosh, is this making sense to anybody? The job was good for you at that point in your career. The place you work was good for you at that point in your career. When you grew, when your skills grew, when your degrees grew, when your experience grew, when your perspective grew, when your skill set grew, the job is what it is. But your growth will change what you see. Oh, gosh. And people on the job, watch this, if they don't understand that, they'll take your growth personal. If the spaces you have evolved in don't understand your evolvement, they'll take your growth personal. So when you leave the job, they'll make it about you leaving them instead of making it about you evolving. God, I don't have time to stay on. Are y'all listening to the old man? They'll make it about you leaving the job. You must be better than us. You got a degree, you got your experience. You came here, got what you wanted. Now you look. It's not that. I just grew. I evolved. And what was good for a season is now not good enough. People will hit you with this. I've been hit with this. I can't tell you how many times I've been hit with, Dr. Zeb think he better than he think. No, it's just that space didn't evolve with me anymore. I was growing and it stopped growing. And if I'm still evolving and it stops, it's just like me trying to walk around here in a size 5 pair of shoes. I ain't been in a 5 in a long time. I ain't been in a 5 in a long time. Okay? And that's what this thing looks. So you got to know that when stuff that used to fit you now makes you uncomfortable, makes you uneasy, it's a sign that you've grown, that you've evolved, that you are evolving. Right? And you don't have to leave and burn the place down. You don't have to break up and embarrass people or hurt people. You don't have to do none of that stuff. But you can do it in a way that's, listen, just evolved in different directions. I evolved in this direction. You evolved in that one. My career evolved this way. The business plan model that y'all have got is this way. And it's okay. So when the stuff that used to fit you now makes you uncomfortable, it's a sign that God got something new for you. And some of y'all are some of you are in some of the most, I can speak for me professionally right now. I'm in an uncomfortable place. I'm in in fact, since Nick Watson is doing all this business coaching, since Nikki Watson, I'm gonna have to send me an invoice. I'm gonna have to, invest in her business coaching because I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm in one of the most uncomfortable seasons of my life right now. I'm being completely frank with you. And if I could just be transparent, and I was sharing this with my parents, I was sharing this with a close friend of mine. I'm in one of the most uncomfortable seasons of my life because I've been in higher education for a very long time, a very, very long time. And I know it in and out. I don't want to be a chancellor. I've been asked by many people to go try to be a chancellor and run a school. I don't want to do that because that's just like being a principal and all you're doing is fixing folks' problems all day. And I don't want to do that all day. I just don't. But I'm in a very uncomfortable situation because the career is going fine. Career's going fine. Consulting business is going okay. It's picking up steam. But that's where my passion is. It's in doing that and working for myself and just in doing that. And this is uncomfortable because I know I got what it takes to do it. I know I got what it takes to do it. And see, many of you are just like me. You're in a very uncomfortable season, not because you don't believe you have the ability, not because you don't know you haven't grown or evolved. You're in a very uncomfortable place because you ain't figured out the answers. You don't know the answers. You don't know how. You don't know the how. And that's how we all sometimes mess up. We get so focused on the how instead of understanding that your job is not to figure out the how. I'm with you on that, Ms. Watson. We make it work. Your job is not to understand the how. Your job is to bask in that discomfort. Because I'm telling you, when you feel uncomfortable like that and you know you've grown, you know you've evolved, man, the problems that I've solved on this job that I'm on the last 7 months are greater than problems I've solved my entire career. When you know you've grown, you've evolved, you got to bask in that discomfort because I'm telling you, God's going to use the discomfort to create something new in your life. All right. So I speak that to everybody watching. I speak that to everybody watching on the replay, that if you are in an uncomfortable season, don't panic. Don't panic. You're in a season of discomfort because God is going to use that to bring something new. Here's the second sign that God is preparing you for something new. All right, I'm going to get through these 3 signs. We'll shut it down because clearly I'm not going to get through all of this. Part 2 coming next week. The second clear sign, I'm going to make my screen a little bit bigger here. The second clear sign that God is about to do something new in your life is this. Record this. All right. Again, you're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler tomorrow. When you can no longer tolerate what used to satisfy you. When you can no longer tolerate what used to satisfy you. That's the second sign that God's about to do something great and something new in your life. When you can no longer tolerate what used to satisfy you. When you can no longer tolerate what used to satisfy you, it's a sign God's about to do something new. I always pick with my church and laugh, when I talk about things like this and growth and maturity. I always use examples that my church can understand. And one of the things I talk about is you ain't got no business going to the club in Miami and seeing somebody 60 up in the club. Now, I don't care who don't like it. I don't care what your grandma, your granddaddy do. I'm just telling you, you 60, you ain't got no business in the clubs in Miami. Why? Because that stuff shouldn't even satisfy you anymore. At 60, you in the club. At 60, you passing out club flyers. Like I'm not being judgmental. I'm just telling you that shouldn't satisfy you anymore. You know why? Because you should have grown, should have evolved, right? Satisfaction, listen to me. Satisfaction is based on growth and need, not taste and convenience. Listen, y'all. Satisfaction, y'all need to record this. Satisfaction is based on growth and need, not taste and convenience. Boy, I could take this so many different directions. I ain't even got the time. Satisfaction is based on growth and need, not taste and convenience. Meaning that when you mature, your appetite changes. When you mature, your appetite changes. When you grow, your appetite changes. When you evolve, your appetite changes. You should not have the same taste at 60 for the stuff you had at 20. Your appetite should evolve. Satisfaction is based on growth and need. So what satisfies me now isn't what necessarily satisfied me at 20. Now, it doesn't mean that some things can't satisfy you now that satisfied you years ago. I'm not implying that to all things. But what I am saying is, especially to certain things, as you grow and evolve, what satisfies you is going to grow and evolve too. Come on, y'all. I hate to go here. But you know, y'all, my church, many of you are in-person members, many of you are virtual members, whatever. I hate to go here, but y'all understand relationships. So let me just make this real plain. Okay? Because y'all gonna get it when I say this. Sweetheart, the thug satisfied you when you was 20. Okay? That Negro satisfied you when you was 20, 21. Okay? You're 40 now. You're 45. And I'm here to tell you, if you've grown and evolved at all, that ain't gonna probably do it for you. Y'all not listening to me. Y'all not listening to me. I like that. She talking about the club played out at 40. Listen, you may have loved the club at 21. If you go to the club now, it probably ain't the same club you went to. You're probably looking for something a little bit more grown up. Something with a dress code. If you at your age still walking in clubs where white t-shirts and jeans are allowed, you have not grown and evolved. Are y'all listening to me? Why? Because satisfaction is based on growth and need. You don't need that anymore. Your appetite doesn't need white t-shirts and jeans. Are y'all listening to me? Are y'all listening to me? Your appetite don't need packed places. This is how I'm just measuring me. When I was younger, yeah, I want to try to be in the mix to an extent. I've always been an introvert, believe it or not. I'm still an introvert. I'm still an introvert, believe it or not. I'm only loud and outspoken when I'm working, right? Church, whatever. When I'm working and when I'm doing what I'm called to do, I'm loud and outspoken. You ask anybody that really knows me in private, I don't say no whole lot. I don't. I just don't. So when I was younger, it's always been the case. But when I was younger, sometimes I would have visions of wanting to be in the mix. But let me tell y'all something. As I've grown and matured, nothing satisfies me more than a plane ticket out the country on a beach where it ain't packed and the seats all stacked next to each other. It's an exclusive beach with blue or green water, and it's quiet. And I ain't even old. It's just that my appetite for going to Miami during spring break and everybody standing on the beach like this don't do nothing for me. That don't do nothing for me. Some of y'all 55. You out there on Miami spring break, standing next to each other like this. You can barely move. What does that do for you at 55? I'm not being funny. I'm asking an honest question. At 55, what does that do for you? I'm just asking. Because for me, that don't do nothing. Now, I'll ride by. I ride by. Hey, look at them. Don't even bring up COVID. Y'all crazy. Passing the virus. Now, I'll ride by and laugh at y'all. But baby, COVID or no COVID. And I'm still somewhat young. Listen to me. Don't nothing satisfy Dr. Zeb like being on an exclusive beach with a handful of people, if that, in peace and quiet, and if necessary, bringing my sand to the beach. Are y'all listening to the old man? I'm going to the beach to meet people. No, I bring my sand to the beach. I bring my sand to the beach. You hear me? Okay? That's called growth. And when you've grown, satisfaction ain't about taste. It ain't about convenience. It's not about that. And I'm sorry. Oh God, I messed up because I'm calling ages. I'm not criticizing your age. If you're 50, in your 50s, I'm not, hey, I ain't far from it. I'm not, oh God, I done messed up. I'm not criticizing. Shut up, Nikki Watson. I'm not, be quiet. You got a secret on your hand. Be quiet. I'm not criticizing. I'm not criticizing your age. I'm not. I'm not criticizing nobody. I'm just saying what satisfies you should change as you grow and evolve. It's that simple. It's that simple. At 21, you went to Bike Week to meet people. At 60, you go to the beach and you bring your sand to the beach. You hear what I'm saying? And listen, you ain't even got to wait to then. If you real mature, you can do that at 25 too. All right? So that's all I'm saying. There are some things in your life. I'm screaming inside too, Sister Nick. I want to just cry laughing. Exclusive beach. Amen. Period. Like, I was looking at TikTok yesterday before my phone died. I was at dinner, flipping through TikTok, watching the game, and somebody posted this thing about 4 trips where they wanted to go to this year, and I got an idea because it was a place on there that I never thought about that I gotta go to, and I'm probably gonna go this year. Bruh, look, I ain't trying to be around a whole lot of folk and a whole lot of noise because that stuff don't even satisfy me. Right, I bet it is, Nick. That don't even satisfy. And when you're growing and maturing, your taste buds change, right? Some things you outgrow. Some things they expire. Doesn't mean they were bad. Just means you're in a different place. Doesn't mean Bike Week was bad if that's what you like. Just means you're in a different place. Doesn't mean spring break at Miami was bad. You're just in a different place, right? If you can outgrow shoes, if you can outgrow clothes, if you can outgrow jobs, if you can outgrow homes, you can outgrow people. You can outgrow environments. You can outgrow situations. Y'all don't like the way I'm teaching. If you can outgrow t-shirts, you can outgrow people. Because your life can grow and evolve the same way your body does. It's that simple. All right? Here's the third thing. Third sign, God is preparing you for something new. And then I got to stop here because y'all, there's no way I get through the rest. This is easily a part 2, might be a part 3. Is this blessing anybody? It's the third and final sign. God is setting you up for something new. All right? I want you to record this. Third and final sign, God is setting you up for something new is this. When you are easily agitated by mediocrity, average, and simple. I ain't really got time to explain this the way I want to. When you are easily agitated by mediocrity, average, or simple. It ain't age, y'all. It's growth. It's growth. When you are easily agitated by mediocrity, being average, or simplicity, simple things, simple people, it's a sign God got something new for you. I'm telling y'all, I used to think it was age. It ain't age. Y'all better stop letting people make you feel odd or strange because you don't settle for average stuff. Y'all stop. Stop letting people make you feel bad because you don't settle for average. You don't settle for mediocrity. You ain't gonna just take anything. I used to think it was, hey man, I'm getting old, man, because all this stuff is really annoying me and it agitates me. And this stuff that people think is great is just really annoying me. And I used to think it was just old age. No, it ain't old age. It just means my standard in a different place. And your standard in a different place too. Stop letting people make you feel some kind of way because you don't want mediocrity in your life. Stop making people make you feel some kind of way because you don't want to date a 5. Yeah, I said it. Stop making people make you feel some kind of way because you don't want to date a 5. Because you don't want to just work for somebody else for the rest of your life and collect a paycheck and get a retirement pension and then go home and plant flowers. That's what normal people do. That's what normal does. It's okay if you want to step out, build that business, build that brand, do something great. It's okay if you want to do that. And when you find yourself in spaces on that job where people are excited and they happy and they just accept this average and, oh gosh, I want to work here forever and I want to do this forever. Meanwhile, you didn't mentally disconnected from the job. Your skills outgrew the job years ago. You said, let me tell you something. When that stuff started knowing you, it's a sign God trying to do something new in your life. It is a sign that God is trying to do something new in your life. But y'all stop selling for mediocrity. Stop walking around here. Stop walking around here selling for mediocrity. Everything about your life ought to be excellent. And anything less than excellent in your life should be reevaluated. I'm going to say it again. Everything in your life should be excellent. And anything in your life that is less than excellent needs to be reevaluated. Period. Jobs, relationships, connections, money, where you live, how you live, what you do for a living, whatever. If it's less than excellent, it needs to go on evaluation. Stop settling for mediocrity. Stop settling for average. Some of y'all got made C's in school and you shouted. You was just trying to get out of school. High school, college, whatever. I'm just trying to get this degree. I ain't trying to be great. I'm just trying to get this degree. Y'all stop selling. Everybody makes C's. C's just mean that you did enough to show up and that you know a little bit. That's all C's mean. And this is coming from somebody. I don't know if my dad and mom are still on the call. This is coming from somebody who got grounded for C's. You know what house y'all grew up in? I grew up in a house where we made C's and got grounded for this. I made C's and used to be on punishment. Got stuff taken away for C's. High C's. So what? That's mediocrity. That's average. Nothing in your life should be mediocre. Nothing in your life should be average. Nothing. You got that right. So now I don't accept C's in my house either. Giselle and Ford, no, we don't play them games. Everybody making C's, that don't mean nothing. But that you mediocre, that you average, that you simple, that's all that means. And I'm not trying to offend anybody. That's all it means. Well, I hear some of y'all grumbling. Well, Dr. Zeb, what if the C is the best I can do? I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe C's are the best you can do. And here's the problem. If you tell me a C is the best you can do, and I tell you that you can do better than a C, who's really got the problem? It ain't me. You got the problem. I like that, Sister Spencer. Sister Ashley, right, and B's are conditioned. You ain't lying. I got a B in gym one time. Gym? Y'all remember how we used to take gym? I don't even know if kids take gym anymore. I know my two take it at 8 and 9, but I don't know if they take gym and stuff in high school. And they used to call it gym and health or something like. I got a B in gym and got grounded. My dad was like, Negro, how you get a B in gym? how did you get a B in health? Yeah, I got a B in gym one time. Probably because I didn't want to dress out a couple times. Didn't study for them health. I'm serious. A few health tests and got C's and got a B and thought I was gonna get away with that. Nuh-uh. That's average, bro. You on punishment for 2 weeks. A B in gym. Y'all don't even know what gym is. Had these kids they don't even know what gym is. The truth. Ask my daddy and got grounded. Yeah, y'all stop selling for average and mediocre. You serve a God. You say anyway that you serve a God that's exceeding, that does exceeding and abundant above all we can ask or think. We repeat that all the time, right? I serve a God that can do above what I can imagine. Then let your life reflect that. Let your life reflect that. Your career should not be mediocre. Your relationships, friendships, relationships, whatever, should not be mediocre. I know that's right, Sister Ashley. She said, you got one on punishment now for being banned. I dare not bring home a being banned. I've been playing music since I was 5. So I knew better than to come home with a being banned. It's the truth. You serve a God that's abundant. Your relationship shouldn't be mediocre. Your friendship shouldn't be mediocre. Your romantic relationship should not be mediocre. You should be dating exceptional people. I'm going to talk about this tomorrow on my personal channel. You should be dating exceptional people. You should be connected to exceptional people. You should be marrying exceptional people. You should be pursuing exceptional careers. And listen, it shouldn't be exceptional by nobody else's standards. It should be exceptional by your standards. Set the standard. It's your standard. It ain't mine. It ain't your mama's. Set your standard. But set one. Some of y'all out here just taking anything. You're just out here taking anything. And I don't listen. Let me say this. This is the last example I'm going to give you, and I'm going to close this because I'm way over. Let me give you the best way I can describe this. The best way I can describe this is this. Imagine trying to eat a Ruth's Chris steak off a paper plate. Imagine trying to eat a steak. Just follow the analogy really quickly. 60 seconds, we're going to pray, sow seed, and I'm done. Imagine trying to eat a Ruth's Chris steak off of a paper plate. You know what makes that look so crazy? Is that the Ruth's Chris steak is you. The paper plate is what you settle for. Yeah, I mean, it can still be done, but some just don't look right about a Ruth's Chris steak sitting on a paper plate. And let me help some of y'all. Some of your lives don't look right because many of you are a Ruth's Chris steak, but your lives are paper plates. Your career, paper plate. People you dating, paper plates. Places you working, paper plates. How you're living, paper plates. Are y'all listening to the old man? Ruth's Chris don't belong on no paper plate. And your life doesn't belong on a paper plate either. I don't care what area of your life. It doesn't matter what area of your life we're talking about. Any area of your life don't belong on no paper plate. My kids laugh at me. They eat on paper plates because they like to, tear up dishes or whatever. But occasionally, when they're eating certain things or whatever, tell them to get a regular plate. Daddy, why we got to get a regular plate? And Daddy, you never hardly ever eat on a paper plate. So I just, grab something quick. Well, you hardly ever eat on a paper plate. Well, you always eat on a regular plate. Why we got to eat this on a plate? And I told her, because some foods don't belong on a paper plate. Y'all better catch the revelation. Y'all better catch the revelation. Y'all better catch. I'm telling you right now, and I like that, Sister Allen, it looks like Jerry Allen. I'm telling you right now, if you invite Pastor to your house and give me a paper plate, I'm going to ask you where the silverware at. Pastor, you bougie. So, unless it's a cookout, there are some exceptions. Let me explain this for my inbox and my phone go crazy. There are some exceptions. If you're at a cookout, that's different, right? We outside, you know what? But if you invite me to your house for dinner and we in your house at your dining table and you start passing out paper plates, I'm going to ask y'all, do y'all have a regular plate? I'll wash it. Especially if you're about to put some ribs and shrimp and stuff. I'm not about to do that because there's certain foods that don't belong on a paper plate. And I'm not being bougie, but it's how I live my life. There's certain spaces I don't belong at because I'm the Ruth's Chris steak and they paper plates. Y'all don't like this. You can call it bougie. You can call it stuck up. You can call it he think he better than everybody else. I'm better than a lot of people. I'm better than a lot of situations. Absolutely. And you ought to have the same attitude. You got to be the Ruth's Chris steak and stop sitting on paper plates. Stop. Stop it. And that's how you got to carry your life. And when you are there, you know, and you're agitated by mediocrity and average and those things, you know God's doing something special in your life. I'm done, y'all. I'm out of time, not out of word. This bless anybody today? Whoa, I'm way over 1040. I'm way over. This bless anybody today at all? Listen, before you hang up, two things. I want to pray for you really quickly. I want to pray for you really quickly. If this bless you today, I want to pray for you. Do me a favor. Many of you, this might be your first time watching this broadcast. You don't even know this. Every morning I get up at 4:40 in the morning. 4:40. Y'all are sleeping. Many of you are turning over. I get up at 4:40 in the morning, and the first thing that I do is I pray over your prayer request. I believe in the power of prayer. I pray over your request. I pray over the things that you're going through. How do you get those things, Dr. Zed? Well, I want you to type your prayer request in the comments now. You can type in your prayer request right now in the comments. And I always go back and watch the lives on all of our networks. I try to see your prayer requests. Oftentimes, if I have time, I'll watch the whole broadcast. If not, I'll fast forward it to the prayer request section, to this portion of the broadcast, because I want to see your prayer request. Every morning, 4:40, I get up, I pray over your request. Type it in the comments right now. Doesn't matter what network you're tuned in. Go ahead and type your prayer request now. We want to see it. If it's something that everybody can read, you can type it there. Maybe you've got a prayer request that we can't read. Maybe you're going through some personal and private things that nobody needs to be privy to. You can email your prayer request to my attention at info@rehabcc.org. That's info@rehabcc.org. Put in the subject line. This is very important. Put in the subject line, prayer request. That's all you need to put. Prayer request. That email is going to get routed to my email address. I'll see it, and I always respond to your request. Many of you have emailed me your prayer requests. You're going through personal issues in your family, your relationships, your career, your health. You've sent me emails. I read the entire thing. And I respond to every single last one of them. Sometimes it takes me days to get to them, but I do. But I want you to email your prayer request to info@rehabcc.org. If you've got a prayer request that cannot be typed in the comments, you can do it now there, or you can type it in the comments. I'm giving you 20 seconds because I'm way over. Type in your prayer request right now. I want to pray for you. I want to pray for your situation. I want to pray for your circumstance. I want to pray for whatever it is that you're going through, because I want you to know that in spite of popular belief, we still serve a God that answers prayer. We still serve a God that makes ways out of no way. I want you to type in your prayer request now, quickly. You got 15 seconds. I want you to type in your prayer request quickly, because we're about to connect and pray right now. We're going to pray over your request. We're going to pray over your life. We're going to pray over your condition. We're going to pray over your circumstance. We're going to pray over what it is that you're dealing with now. And I want you to know that there is no request too large. There's no request too small that God can't answer your prayer. Listen, y'all, prayer is free. Prayer is free. And many of us can testify that people prayed for us when we didn't have the strength to pray over ourselves. So I am praying for you. Yes, I'm praying for your new careers. I like that. I really like that prayer request there, because many of you want job changes. You want career changes. You want things to happen for you. You want things to happen for the people around you. You want things to happen in your finances. You want things to happen in your health. I'm here to tell you, you still serve a God that can answer prayers, and he will answer your prayer. All right. And so I want to pray for you right where you are, whatever it is. Type in your prayer request. And then after you do that, I want you to connect your hands like this as a sign and symbol of faith, as if we are touching each other, right? As if we are connecting hands with each other. I want you to put your hands like this as a sign and symbol of faith, as if we are holding hands, because I'm getting ready to pray for you right now. All right. Type in your request, email it your request. I want you to connect your hands like this as a sign and symbol of faith. All right. Let's pray. Father, in Jesus' name, thank you today for your word. Thank you for this time of gathering that you've given us. I pray, God, that something was said that has encouraged somebody, that it has motivated somebody, has inspired somebody to be the best them that you've called them to be. I pray, God, that through this word, that we would recognize the changing and the evolving that's happening in us, and that we will get to a place where we refuse to settle for anything in our lives, that we refuse to cope for anything with anything in our lives, so that we can grow, develop, and mature to be everything you've called us to be and more. Now, God, for every prayer request that's come across this live broadcast, for every prayer request that's being typed in the replay, for every prayer request that's been emailed to our inbox, we speak life to these requests now. We ask, God, that you would answer the prayers of your people, that you would make ways as only you can, that you would open doors as only you can, that you would meet needs as only you can. We thank you, God, because we know that this week will be a week filled with miracles. This week will be a week that is filled with overflow. It will be a week that is filled with open doors, answered prayers, healed bodies, ways made out of no way. We ask that this week be a tremendous week for your people, that you would answer the prayers of your people like never before. But more than that, that you would give us the faith and the strength to have the patience necessary to trust you while we wait on you to answer our prayers. Keep us in the right attitude. Keep us in the right energy. Keep our energy positive. Keep our spirit positive as we wait on you to answer the prayers that we believe you'll answer. And God, I believe that as you answer the prayers of your people, that your people will continue to trust you, will continue to praise you, and will continue to give you the glory. We count these things done, and we believe you for them. In Jesus' name, amen. Listen, if you prayed with me, I want you to type in the comments right now, it is so, quickly. I want you to type in the comments right now, it is so, it is so. If you prayed that prayer of faith, I want you to type in the comments right now, it is so. Every time you say amen, you're simply saying it is so. The word amen in the Greek is translated, it is so. It is done. I want you to type that in the comments. So when life gets hard this week, when trials get rough this week, sometimes you don't need to repeat the prayer. Sometimes you just need to say, it is so. Listen to me. When things get hard this week, because they might get hard, when things get difficult this week, because they might get difficult, you don't need to always recite the prayer. Sometimes you just need to say, it is so. And it is a reminder that everything you prayed for is already done. It's a reminder that everything that you believe for is already done. It is so. Come on, quickly. It is so. Thank you so much. It is so. It is so. Listen, if you want to be saved, before I go, if you want to be saved, if you want to dedicate your life to Christ, maybe you listened to this broadcast today and you've literally never heard teaching like this. You've never heard the gospel explained in a way that has motivated you, that has inspired you, that has pushed you like this before, and you want to dedicate your life to Christ. I want to challenge you to do this. Listen, Romans chapter 10, verse 9, we taught it the last 2 weeks, tells us that if we confess with our mouths, that if we believe with our hearts that Jesus Christ is who he is and did what he did for us, we are saved. Salvation is not about being perfect. Giving your life to Christ is not about being perfect. They lied to you. They told you that the only way you can give your life to Christ is if you live a perfect one. And they lied to you. That's not what salvation is. Salvation and giving your life to Christ says, I believe in a God that's bigger than my problems. I believe that a God exists that's bigger than all my flaws, and he can take my flaws, use my flaws while he works on my flaws. And so if you want to be saved today, I want you to stop what you're doing. If you're at brunch, I want you to put down the bacon. If you're at the pool, I want you to come up from out of the water. If you're laying in the bed, I want you to sit straight up. Because right now, I want you to repeat a prayer of faith with me. And if you repeat this prayer, I'm telling you, God is going to save you right now. You want to be saved? Say this with me. Say it. I'm a sinner. I'm not perfect. I've made some mistakes. I have some flaws. And I even have some failures. But I do believe that Jesus Christ was born of a virgin, that he lived on this earth just like I'm living. Yet he suffered, bled, and died on the cross. And 3 days later, rose again for my sins. Because he lives, I can live, and I am saved. My friends, if you prayed that prayer of faith, I want to clap my hands and welcome you to the royal family of Jesus Christ. You've made a powerful decision. And that decision is that you have decided to give your life back to him. If you prayed that prayer of faith and gave your life back to Christ, and you're bold enough to do this, I want you to type in the comments, hashtag salvation. Would you do that? If you prayed that prayer of faith, maybe you're watching live, maybe you're watching the replay. You prayed that prayer of faith. I want you to type in the comments right now, hashtag salvation. Why? Because we want to congratulate you. We want to thank you for dedicating your life to Christ, for giving your life back to Christ, for making a decision today, not to be perfect, but to give your life back to the one who can make your life better, who can take your flaws, make them better, who can take your imperfections, make them better. If you prayed that prayer of faith, we are congratulating you today. I'm starting to see some salvations come through. I'm so excited you prayed that prayer of faith, and I'm so glad you gave your life back to Christ. Now, here's what I need you to do. Go find you a church home somewhere. I don't care where you go. I just got one stipulation. Make sure it's a Bible teaching, a Bible preaching, a Bible believing church. They don't have to be a perfect church, but make sure they are a Bible teaching, Bible believing church. Find that church and be a part of that ministry. Dedicate your time, your talent, your treasure to that ministry and grow. All right. If you want to be in a face-to-face space and you're nowhere near us, go find that ministry. Serve in that ministry. Continue to grow in the faith. You want to connect with other believers who are imperfect, just like you, who are trying to grow in their faith. It's so important. You can't do this journey on your own. You need a pastor. You need some people connected to you that can help you on your spiritual growth and journey. Maybe you're tuned in today and you're like, you know what, Rev? I like the Rehab Christian Center. I ain't heard teaching like this before. I've never heard ministry being taught this way, and I want to be a part of the Rehab Christian Center. We got good news. You can be a part of the Rehab Christian Center, and it's real easy. Whether you're in the Greensboro area in North Carolina, or you live far away and you want to be a virtual member, all you got to do is simply this. Type in the comments, hashtag membership, and one of our faithful moderators will reach out to you, get some information from you, and we'd be happy to welcome you to not the largest church on the planet, but by far the nicest church on the planet. We're going to be hybrid soon, meaning we're going to be in the building first and third Sundays. We're going to be virtual second and fourth Sundays, and we're going to do that forever. Why? Because I believe that COVID reminded all of us that there are multiple ways that you can get the message out of Jesus Christ. Yes, it's innovative. Yes, it's different, but we're a different ministry. And that's something that I love about Rehab. And so if you want to be a part of the Rehab Christian Center, just simply type in the comments, hashtag membership. I'm pleased to say I've got members, virtual members I've never even met face-to-face before, ever. But as we get into that format, we're going to be offering online new members classes. For our virtual members, we're going to be doing things obviously face-to-face as well. And we just want to be able to do it in a way that is innovative and that reaches as many people as possible. All right. Listen, I love y'all. I really do. I'm so glad you tuned in. Really quickly, I want to challenge you to give today. If this message, if this ministry has been a blessing to you, I want to challenge you to give today. I'm so grateful for those of you that continue to give, your tithes, that continue to give your offerings as we're preparing the building and other things to get back in the building. It has been so helpful, and I'm grateful for that. If you want to sow today into this ministry, if you want to give your tithes, if you want to sow a special seed today, you can give one of three ways. You can give via CashAPP, $REHABCCGIVE. You can give on our website by visiting www.REHABCC.org and choose online giving, or you can text REHABWORKS. Text REHABWORKS to 88202. That's REHABWORKS to 88202. And right to your cell phone, you'll see a prompt. Click on that link and you can give right from your cell phone. Again, you can give via CashAPP, $REHABCCGIVE. You can give on our website by visiting www.rehabcc.org. All right. Or you can text REHABWORKS to 88202. Text REHABWORKS to 88202. And right to your cell phone, you'll see a prompt. Click on that prompt and you can follow those instructions and give there. Listen, I'm so grateful you tuned in. I did not mean for this broadcast to run this long today. I promise you, I didn't. It's just so crazy. My time been out. But this has been a powerful word. Do me a favor, like this video, share this video. If you have not already, share this video, subscribe to our channels. You can follow us on Instagram at TheREHABexperience. You can follow us on Facebook at the Rehab Christian Center. You can follow us on YouTube at the REHABCC. Follow our channels, like our channels, go back and look at the archives, share this video. Tell somebody to be encouraged to go back and watch this video. I believe this message is going to bless somebody in a tremendous way. And then make plans to join us this Tuesday, 8:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Life Study. We call our Bible study on Tuesdays Life Study because we talk about real topics, real things. from a spiritual point of view. So make plans to join us this Tuesday, 8:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for life study. And we simply cannot wait to see you there. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I'm praying for y'all. I'm rooting for you. I want you to have a fantastic week. Yes, that Cash App is $REHABCCGIVE. That's $REHABCCGIVE is our Cash App. Our website is www.rehabcc.org. And then you can also text REHABWORKS to 88202. All right. Thank you so very kindly for all of you. Thank all of you so very kindly for your giving. And we appreciate it. Listen, we'll see you Tuesday, 8:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love you. I'm praying for you. I'm rooting for you. Have a fantastic week. Peace and blessings.
Thank you for watching the Rehab Christian Center live experience. If this broadcast has been a blessing to you and you would like to be a blessing to our leader, Dr. Zeb Talley III, you can sow a seed into his ministry by Cash App at $Pastor ZT3. It is our prayer that this message of hope encouraged, enlightened, and empowered you to be better. Please tune in Tuesday at 7:08 p.m. for our life study experience. And as always, be blessed and have a wonderful week.